This video is brought to you by the Disc Golf Nerd Patreon support team. Go to patreon.com/discgolfnerd. What's up, guys? Welcome to my review of the Dana Vicich Signature Series Swirly S-Line CD2. This is the Roaming Thunder 2. Really nice disc. It is basically in the star plastic with some swirls going on. Huge thank you to Dana Vicich himself for sending me this thing to test and review. Dana, one of the most solid dudes in disc golf, and definitely someone I'm happy to consider a friend in the game. And also, really cool to be able to have the actual player whose disc it is sponsor the review. So that's awesome. I think that's great. Also, huge thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon. If you like what I do, you want to consider giving me some financial support to help keep the ball rolling here, you can check me out, patreon.com/discgolfnerd. Let's get into the review of the Roaming Thunder CD2. So, really nice looking disc here. I like the kind of outside edge swirl here. Basically, the rim is a whole different color than the inside, which is cool. Looking on the bottom, hopefully you can see the subtle kind of swirliness to the bottom. It's all kind of a little bit muted. It's not like the brightest colors, but definitely a good looking disc nonetheless. And you can see there's definitely some swirls going on there. Also, here is just for comparison, this is the original Roaming Thunder, and you're going to notice that this run came out a little flatter than this one, for sure, and definitely seems to have a little bit less stability. So let's take a closer look at the stamp here. Pretty interesting, kind of steampunk robot bison type thing going on here. Discmania Signature Series, Dana Vicich Swirly S-Line CD2. This one is 175 grams, full max weight, just like the other one I reviewed. The feel is phenomenal. I really, really like it. It's got a really nice grip, and the newer runs of Star Plastic, really all the Star Plastic out there, just feels phenomenal in the hand. It is really, really wonderful plastic that just grips really nice and feels great. And for anyone who doesn't know, S-Line just means star. C-line would be champion, and so on. So it's pretty simple to know the differences for the Discmania Originals lineup created by Innova, which this disc is a part of. So let's take a look at the rim profile on this thing. Really comfortable, no problems whatsoever. The flight numbers are 9, 5, -1, and 2, according to the internet. They're not marked on the disc. I would say I pretty much agree with those for this particular run. The original run was definitely more overstable. But this one, definitely a little bit flatter than the original Roaming Thunder, which had a pretty noticeable pop-top dome on it. And it definitely still has really nice glide and a nice flight to it, but we'll talk about that just in a little bit here. But there is a look at the rim profile. Extremely comfortable feeling disc in the hands, not very wide, and I think anybody can get a nice grip on this thing and have no problems there whatsoever. Also, put it up next to a few other things. This is a Gold Line Culverin, also a 9-speed disc from Latitude. So let's take a look at the differences here. Culverin, definitely more of an overstable fairway driver. It's deeper. Probably doesn't get out there as far for me, I would say, for sure. And there it is right there. Also, I believe, very similar flight numbers. A little bit more glide and a little bit less turn, according to the flight numbers at least. Here's the DD Escape. These really aren't that different in terms of flight, but definitely have a noticeably different design to them. The CD2 being a little bit more lower profile again than the Escape there. All in all, really nice feeling disc in the hand. Star Plastic, S-Line plastic, very well documented here on the channel. It's one of the absolute best plastic types we have in the sport. And yeah, no different here. Great feel, nice little bit of gumminess to it, but not too much. And nice and grippy, and will break in slowly and continue to fly great for a long period of time. Let's get into the flight of this thing. So it definitely matches the flight numbers more than the original run. The original run was almost like a maybe like a slightly broken in PD kind of flight. You know, it had a noticeable amount of stability to it when you threw it. This one definitely stands up a little easier and flies a little straighter overall, and it's definitely easier for me personally to get distance out of. So if you are more of a low arm speed player, or maybe a newer player, you're still working on your form, or you're just like me, you've been playing for a while, you just don't throw it very far, very fast, this is definitely a nice straight flying disc that you can hit pretty hard, and it's not squirrely and going to like roll over on you accidentally very much at all. I can throw it really hard, but it'll just go real straight. But it does have a nice fade at the end of the flight. It can hold a turnover as well, but a couple of times I tried that, I didn't get over on it quite enough, and it floated out. You might see in the video here. But I've definitely noticed that it can hold that turnover, especially if you had more power. I think this could be a really great shot shaper for a lot of different lines, because it holds a hyzer pretty well as well. And it'll take the release angle and fly mostly on that line. I think if you had a bigger power arm, you wanted to start it on a little hyzer maybe and just get it to flip up flat just a touch and then fly really straight from there. But it's kind of a good all-around workhorse disc. Recently, in a question and answer thing I watched with UC Marejma from Discmania, he said that he thinks the CD2 is the most underrated disc in their lineup, and definitely a great flyer from my perspective. I've only tested so many Discmania drivers over the years. I know a good few, but not like every single one by any means. But this is definitely my favorite one that I've tested so far. It's a nice flyer. It's a good speed range for the average player, and definitely nice and straight. But James, throwing considerably farther than me, still very much able to control this disc and get nice straight flights out of it for sure. So if you like something along the lines of like an Escape or those 9-speed drivers that get good distance for the average player but still maintain a lot of control and accuracy, I think the CD2, especially this second edition, would be a phenomenal disc for you guys to check out. That is it for my review of the Roaming Thunder CD2. Great disc. Thank you so much to Dana for sending it to me. And once again, thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon and all of my viewers for your continued support. I appreciate all of you. And I will talk to you all very soon. All right. Cheers.